Hello everyone, my name is Anitsu and I'm back with another Digimon video. So today I'm going to be doing a pre-release report. So this is the type of video where I kind of go over what my pre-release deck is, how well I did, and kind of my thought process when going and building my pre-release deck. So I did end up taking first place at my pre-release. There was about 9 players there, so it was a rather small pre-release, but we all had fun nonetheless, being able to just play around with the new set. So as far as just my approach to deck building, I kind of already laid out in the guide just some general things to look out for in terms of being able to build a cohesive deck and certain strategies that are prominent inside of the set. So as far as just some of the extra cards before I actually get into the deck itself, I kind of just separated it into 3 piles. So I have the useful pile, the not useful pile, and then the deck itself. So that's kind of generally when I open things up, pulling out all of the different ratios and sorting all of the different cards by their level to kind of figure out what I have of what. That's kind of just the 3 main categories that I kind of separated it by. So as far as some of the cards that I didn't necessarily find super useful, just because I had better cards to play, Beelzemon X Antibody just was the worst level 6 that I had. Not necessarily a bad level 6, it just I couldn't make use of his ability, so I decided to just not run him at all. Then I just have some other cards that I just generally figured weren't necessarily super useful, again, just because the synergies weren't exactly there, and I had better things to play. Then when it comes down to the cards that I was thinking about playing but didn't exactly quite make the cut, you could kind of see just a commonality between a lot of them. These are just highly usable generic cards that are just good on their own or have some more specific synergies that I could be playing around with. So I was running a decent amount of save-based cards, which is why a lot of these cards were at least cards that I considered. I did have a little bit of Greymon synergy, which is why these cards were considered. These are just generically good rookies, especially since this interacts with hybrids and not just specifically red hybrids, and this interacts with just green cards. Then these are just really good tempo efficient cards to think of, and this is just another decently good generic card, mostly because the inheritable ability gives the blocker ability, but he also has his own general usability, even if he is a little bit on the expensive side, and this is just another generally useful card. So those were the choices in terms of the cards that didn't exactly make the cut, but going over the deck itself, I basically just starting off with the Digitama ran all of the Digitama that I pulled. So I pulled 3 Digitama for my packs, and then my pre-release pack I did get a extra Digitama, so I just ran exactly what I had. Then when it came down to the level 6s, my LGS was letting us use the Bancho Sting promo, so I decided I might as well run him, because he could have some really good usability, especially if I'm trying to counteract Quartzmon, which is one of the best cards in terms of a sealed and limited experience, just because there's not necessarily a whole lot of ways to be able to counter him. Then I ran the War Greymon, again, another really useful card, especially trying to counter Quartzmon. Just super useful card at being able to keep bodies off the field, and just a really powerful card at being able to deal some damage at the same time. Ancient Wisemon, I was running a decent amount of blacks, and I did run some black hybrids, so this, again, was just a very high usability card on top of the 13k DP, which was going to be a little bit hard for the opponents to deal with. Same thing with Jet Mervamon. The main reason why I was playing this card was because of Armor Purge, just to make my level 6s a little bit stickier, and then Lampmon was kind of just the filler, just to try to stop some of the opponent's aggression. And then when it came to the level 5s, I was running a healthy mix of save-based cards, so that way I could try to utilize all of the abilities that are requiring the Digimon to have save in its text. And then the other split was the 2 Dino Beamons I got. One of them was the pre-release promo, and one of them I pulled from the pack. This did have some pretty interesting synergy with some of the other cards in the set, and it did have some unique synergy with the promo that we were allowed to run with. So that's kind of the reason why I was running that. Plus DNA, if you could set it up, was pretty good of an ability to get off at trying to help control the opponent's field. Then the other card I was running again was more in line with the save-based cards, but also had some pretty good synergy with something like Ancient Wisemon to again be able to try to make full effectiveness of the cards that I had playing around with, while also having a good generic inheritable ability that could be paired up with any of my other Digimon, like any of my level 6s. Then when it came to my level 4s, I was running some hybrids just because hybrids are still pretty good. I am running some black tamers, so Mercurymon was especially valuable, on top of him being another card to be able to give blocker. I was running a couple of blue cards, but these weren't necessarily the most useful. Compared to everything else I had, though, they were just some of the better cards that I had access to. Then I had Yakimon for some good tempo and just an easy blocker to hard play, on top of being able to help set up some DNA plays as well. Potamon evoing for 1 is also pretty good. Then I had Greymon just because I was running some Agumons and I did have the tie to be able to try to make him useful. I had some other pretty decent, generically good cards that were also decent at doing what they needed to do respectively. Them having the play cost of 4 also helped, making it easier to want to hard play them, on top of the fact that I did have to run 1 dud, just because I was a little bit on the lower side when it came to running level 4s than I wanted to be, and I wish I'd seen them more, but it was good enough even with 1 dud card in the mix. Then, when it came to my level 3s, I was running 2 Agumons. You do have to note that without the Koromon egg, he is going to evo for 1 in the raising area, unless you're going to be hard playing him to try to get his on-play effect, or if you're just putting him in the raising because you don't have enough eggs, then you could bypass that 1 cost. But sometimes the 1 Evo is just a decent choking tool in of itself. Plus, as you can see, I was running a little bit of Greymon-based synergy. Then I did have some free-based synergy, so it made the Wormmon and the Vmon also pretty valuable. Vmon also interacted with some of my level 4s, which was really good. Then I had some just other generally good cards like Pillowmon and Swimmon. They weren't doing anything, but they were just good on the tempo and they had some good stat lines. On top of the fact that I had Otamon as just another blue rookie to interact with some of my cards, and then I was just running a decent amount of save-based cards as well, just because that's kind of where the majority of the set synergy and support is. So I had some Dracmons, I had Zenimon, I had Gumdramon, I had Shoutmon, and I had Chuchumon, all as just really good, generically solid cards to run for the save-based synergies that I was playing around with. And then to enable all of the save-based synergies, I was running a decent amount of tamers. I was running 4 tamers. I didn't run any options because I didn't find the options that I pulled to be super useful. So Ryoma was just good at letting me utilize my trash, so that way I could try to always make sure I have save-based cards to use with him to try to make it utilizing them even easier. And that's kind of the sentiment with Tagiru and Yu Amano, just again more of the better save-based cards. And then Tai was there just because I was running some Greymons, and having access at an extra way to be able to have some defense is always nice. So that's kind of the deck in of itself, and you can kind of see between a lot of my techs and choices, like where I decided to end up going with a lot of the cards in a lot of the direction, and kind of how I was able to come to this based on some of the cards that I was playing around with. And it was good enough to allow me to get first place, which got me an extra Magnadramon. And then as far as just some of the prize support that my LGS gave, I got an extra Bancho Stingmon, I got a Revisions pack, and I got 4 packs of Across Time. So let's take a look at seeing what I actually pulled out of my spoils. Let's go ahead and start with the revision pack, just because the revision packs are seeded. There's a total of 4 seeds out of the revision pack. All of the cards are not in foil, but it's nice that we have a way to be able to have all of these reprints. So I got the Oryu pack, which is probably the worst of the packs. So it comes with Goldramon, Flame Hellscythe, Reaper, Azulong, Megidramon, Metal Edamon, Angelomon, Optimizer, Gatomon, Agunimon, and Ruli. So it's not a bad pack, it's just that compared to some of the others, the value isn't necessarily in this one particular. I think the best seed is going to be the Black War Greymon seed, which comes with Machinedramon and some other decently valuable cards. Dobermon, Mercurymon, Geogreymon, Metal Life Kawagamon, Great Maelstrom, Growlmon, Lapis Demon, Ostamon, Shout King version, Sephirothmon, Ancient Mermaidmon, and Marcus is out of pack 1. Out of pack 2, we have Burgermon, Jokermon, Chuchumon, Swimmon, Mikemon, Ebby Burgermon, Pillowmon, Gigimon, Psychmon, XVmon, Tai, and Chaosdramon X Antibody. Pack 3, we have Wisemon, Greymon, Geckomon, Home Run Blast, Lapis Demon, Yasaimon, Shoutmon, Ostamon, Shogun, Geckomon, Opossumon, Clockmon, and Ancient Mermaidmon. And last pack out of my spoils, we have Betsumon, Great Maelstrom, Sagomon, Wizardmon X, Podamon, Agumon, Growlmon, Kozenimon, 7th Full Cluster, Lampmon, Marcus, and Overflowing Power. So, not terrible in terms of spoils, but not the greatest either, but that's just the nature of the beast when it goes to opening packs. So, that is it for my pre-release report. I hope everyone's pre-releases are going just as well as mine did. So that's all I really have for this video. As always, feel free to tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and down in the description below are a couple of different ways you could support me and the channel. So I do have a TCG Player affiliate link, so when you use that link to buy cards off of TCG Player, then some of that money will go to supporting me and the channel. I also do make and sell playmats over on Overcard Gamers on Facebook, so when you buy a playmat with my design, then some of that money will also go to help supporting me and the channel. And on top of all of that, I do have a Twitch account over on twitch.tv/Zenitsu, so giving me a follow and a subscription also helps support me there, and I do play Digimon on top of various other games on that platform as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.